Welcome to the Explainer. Hey, if you've ever looked at one of those aptitude test questions, the one about two people painting a room and just felt your brain start to seize up, you're definitely in the right place. Today, we're going to crack the code on these time and work problems for good.
So, here's our game plan for today. We're going to kick things off with a classic problem. Then, we'll get the basic math down before I show you a killer shortcut that's going to change everything. After that, we'll even tackle a tricky curveball and wrap it all up with a toolkit of takeaways you can use. All right, let's get our hands dirty. We're going to jump right in with a question you've probably seen 100 times in one form or another. Think of this as our guinea pig for all the methods we're about to learn. So here it is, the classic painter problem. You've got one painter who's pretty fast, gets it done in 4 hours. Then you have another who's, well, a bit more methodical, taking 12 hours. Now, your gut might tell you to just average the two, but hold on, that's a classic trap. So how do we figure out the real time it takes when they team up?
To solve this, we need to get one core idea straight. It's the engine that drives every single one of these problems. And that idea is all about efficiency.
Now, don't let a term like work efficiency scare you. It's really just a fancy way of talking about someone's speed or their rate of work. It makes sense, right? The faster you are, the more work you get done in an hour, and the more efficient you are. That simple relationship is the key to unlocking everything else. And these three concepts, work, rate, and time, they're all connected. They're like three pieces of a puzzle. If you know any two of them, you can always find the third. The main formula you want to burn into your brain is this one. Work equals rate multiplied by time. We're going to come back to this again and again. Okay, so this is the old school traditional way of solving these problems. I call it the fraction method. Here, A is the time it takes the first person, B is the time for the second, and T is the total time together. What you're really doing is adding up the fraction of the job each person finishes in a single hour. So let's try it with our painters. Painter 1 does 1/4 of the room per hour. Painter 2 does 1/12. We add those fractions, which means finding a common denominator, and we get that together they knock out 1/3 of the room every hour. So to do the whole room, it takes them 3 hours. It works. We got the answer. But let's be honest, messing with fractions can be slow and clunky, especially when you're under pressure. There has to be a better way, right?
You bet there is. So let's power up. I'm going to show you a much slicker, much more intuitive way to solve this. This is the method that will make you feel like a total pro and save you a ton of mental energy.
The biggest headache with the last method was the fractions. So what if we could just get rid of them entirely? Well, we can. That's the whole idea behind the LCM, or lowest common multiple method. Instead of thinking of the job as one whole room, we're going to imagine it's made of a specific number of work units. This little trick is a complete game changer.
Let's unleash this on our painter problem. The lowest common multiple of their times, 4 and 12, is 12. So let's pretend the total job isn't one room, but 12 units of painting. Now, watch how easy this becomes. The fast painter's rate? That's 12 units in 4 hours, so 3 units per hour. The slower painter? 12 units in 12 hours, easy, 1 unit per hour. Their combined rate is just 3 plus 1, which is 4 units an hour. To finish the total 12 units, we just divide 12 by 4 and we get 3 hours. Same answer, 0 fractions, so much cleaner, so much faster.
Okay, I'm impressed, you're impressed, we're all impressed with the LCM method. So let's throw it a curveball. What happens when something, or someone, is actively working against you?
The concept is actually really simple. Just think of a pipe filling a tank. That's positive work. You're adding to the total. A leak or an open drain, on the other hand, is negative work. It's taking away from the total. The beautiful thing is we can treat this almost exactly the same way. We just subtract the rate of the negative work instead of adding it. It's a really simple tweak.
So let's put this to the test with a new problem. You've got a pipe that can fill a sink in 5 minutes. But there's a catch. The drain is open and it can empty that same sink in 7 minutes. The pipe is working to fill it while the drain is working to empty it. Will the sink ever actually fill up? And if it does, how long is it going to take?
This is where that LCM method really proves its worth. The LCM of 5 and 7 is 35.
So let's say a full sink is 35 units of water. The fill pipes rate, it adds 7 units every minute. The drains rate, it subtracts 5 units every minute. So our net rate is a super simple 7 minus 5. The sink is filling up at a net rate of 2 units per minute. To fill all 35 units, we just divide 35 by 2, and we get 17.5 minutes. See? The LCM method handled that curveball without breaking a sweat.
Okay, let's wrap this all up. We're going to summarize everything we've learned and put these powerful ideas right into your personal problem-solving toolkit.
All right, here are the absolute essentials. First, that fundamental formula, work equals rate times time. You now have 2 methods in your arsenal, the classic fraction method, which works, and your new superpower, the much faster LCM method. You also know how to handle negative work. Just subtract the rates. And finally, listen up, because this is a huge one that trips people up all the time. If you're paying people, wages are divided based on the amount of work they actually did, their efficiency, not just the hours they spent on the job. It's all about their work ratio. Don't forget that.
And that leads me to one last thought to leave you with. Now that you have the tools, let's go back to our painters. If you paid them $1,000 for painting that room, how would you split the money fairly? Hint, it's not 50-50. Think about the work they each did, their individual rates. I'll let you chew on that one. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.